So this is a little demo about what the two rigs do. So this is your bottom rig that I showed you in the previous video. So we'll cast it in and let it go down to the bottom. Movement in the bottom layer. With this rig, you can just leave it like that and wait. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes and see if we get a bite. See how it's stopped moving in the bottom layer? Just reel it up a little bit. Keep reeling it up. So that you see that little yellow mark in the middle of the tension bar at the bottom. As long as you've got a yellow mark there and it's moving, you can see it goes wide and narrow, ever so slightly. That means it's moving the bait in the water column. So as long as it's doing that, you should catch on it. Now obviously it's going to depend on whether there's fish here or not. At the moment I'm just out from the dock. I'm not that far out. You can put this at any depth. Like if I put line on with a sorry, I should have done this with a better reel so you can see what depths I'm fishing at. Let's pull it in, put another reel on here, something with a line counter on it. Or obviously you can use the coloured line which tells you how deep you are. But I tend to like using reels with a line counter on, so let's put a reel on there with a line counter on it. What have we got? These have got line counters on. Yeah, one of them will do. It only gives us 62 meters, so no, I'm not going to use that one. I can't remember where I put the reel. Which rod I put it on? Not that one. Not that one. Where is it? Typical, I can't find it. Can't find the reel I'm after. Is it on one of these? Oh, it might be on here, there it is. Let's take that off there. Put it on our boat rod. Right, so cast out. The reel counter, let it go down to 20 feet, 20 meters. See what that does. You can move it, you can do it the same like you do with the pilking, but it's not necessary. You don't have to touch it, you can just leave it like that. But obviously it's saying it's a bottom rod or a bottom rig, so you can fish it from the bottom. But it's not technically true, because it's not like when we're fishing in freshwater when you cast it in and the bait just goes straight to the bottom and stays on the bottom. If you do that with this, you won't catch anything. You can let it go down to the bottom, so that it's right on the bottom, but if you don't, see, it's stopped now, it's on the bottom, it's right on the bottom. So if I just do that, yeah, okay. It doesn't tend to work if it's not moving in the bottom layer or moving somewhere. If you just put it on the bottom, it doesn't do anything. Like, for instance, if I was on the shore and I cast this in and then put the rod down on a holder, it wouldn't catch anything. See, that got me a haddock. So you can do that at any depth. Like, say if I wanted to do it at 10, I could do it at 10 and just leave it there like that. You don't have to jig it up and down or anything. As long as there's movement, it'll catch. But obviously when it's moving in the bottom layer, it works a bit better. But that all depends on how many fish are there, the same as every other fishing method. Like the same as when you're pilking, if there's no fish there, you're not going to get them. But the proof that it, say, it's done it again, look, it's worked again straight away, it's making me look like an idiot. They're trying to prove a point and it's like, not proving my point at the minute. Another benefit, you can get quite a few pollock if you find them with this method. It's great. Like if you fish over really deep holes like the 180 and only fish 30 feet down, 30 meters down, if you hit into a shoal of these, into pollock, you'll get quite a lot of pollock using these worms, these neris, and you don't tend to get anything else, so you don't have to fear getting a basking shark or anything like that, because they won't take a worm. Anyway, we'll keep that. I want to try and catch, they're obviously down at the bottom and they're taking it on the drop, which is not helping me prove my point. I'll show you in a minute anyway, because I'm going to go back to the shore in a minute and show you what it's like from the shore with this rod. It doesn't work from the shore. This type of rod doesn't work. You have to use like a normal bottom fishing rod. See, I'm getting movement in the bottom layer, that's because the boat's going up and down. But if you notice at the minute, I've got the line too slack and there's no tension bar in the middle of the I don't know what it's called at the bottom where your line tension is. There's no yellow mark in it. What you have to do with this setup, if I just leave it like that, I won't get anything. Like if I open the bail, just put a load of slack in it and then close it again. See, that's on the bottom now, it's not moving, and this is what you'll get when you're on the shore, and it gives you, you'll catch nothing like that. It doesn't do anything. What you've got to do is you've got to reel it up to the point where, see that yellow line now, that means it's off the bottom, which is a bit contradictory really, because it's called a bottom fishing rod, but it doesn't work when you fish it on the bottom. But you've got to keep that line so that that line's always there. If that line disappears, that little yellow line in the middle, if it disappears, you need to reel it up a bit. And as long as you're getting movement in the bottom layer, like it is now, or movement in any layer, like if I reeled it up so it was like up to 20 meters, as long as it's moving, you'll catch something. And I'm not catching anything now because I'm trying to prove the point, which you know what it's like when you're trying to show somebody something, it never works, does it? But you get the idea. That little line, see how it disappeared then? That means it's right near the bottom, this, so it must be touching the bottom and then coming off the bottom. So if you reel it up a little bit more, just to make sure it's off the bottom, but it's still in the bottom layer, so you can still fish the bottom layer. And I've never had a halibut on this, so that's another good thing about it. You won't get the big halibut that ruin your reels and stuff. So you won't catch anything big on this. It's all pollock, saithe, haddock, all the flatfish, and thorny rays, and what's the other one? Horn sculpins, and eel pouts, and crabs, mussels. You'll get all the small stuff on this. So it's a good way of fishing if you don't want the big fish in the sea, like the sharks and the tuna and the basking sharks and the halibut. If you don't want any of them, which are going to spool you with lower gear, if you use this, you'll never get any of them. You'll just get all the other types of sea fish. And it's proving me wrong again, isn't it? Look, I mean, I'm fishing with it now and it's not working. I'm still right at the bottom as well, because I'm still in the bottom layer, but it does work at any layer. Like I say, you can fish near the top using this and you will catch. I've caught at like 5 meters on this. If you hit into a shoal, you get soury and stuff like that on this as well, and sardines and mackerel. You get all them on this. Once you've got that 55% for bottom rigs, I think it gives you the option to use the other setup as well. Oh, I've got one coming up. Let's see what this is. There you go, saithe. Right, so the other rig is, let's show you the other rig. Let's change it. This is a classic marine bottom rig, right? If I change it to bottom rig with a rattling weight, This is the other one that you can use baits with, but it's a specialist hook. You've got to have these hooks on, so you'd have to buy these obviously. But this is another good one. This one's like you've got to use a rattling sinker, which is I think it's designed for the wolffish. It rattles to attract the wolffish because it bounces off the bottom and makes a noise, so it attracts wolffish. You can do the same with this, use baits, or you can use these on this. You can't use these on the other one, I don't think. Possibly, I'm not sure. But these worms are always the best because they give you they're a bit like the normal worms in the freshwater fishing, because they give you the biggest range of fish. But even if you put one of these on, you're not going to get a shark or anything. I've never had one anyway. Watch me get one now, just because I've said that. So if we go, I don't know, let's go 35 down. I think it's 70 meters here or something. 69 meters. Let's go to 30. You just leave it. You don't have to do anything with it. You can do this if you want to, but you don't have to. It's not like pilking where you have to do that, otherwise you won't get anything. You just sit with this. The movement of the waves is enough to attract them. You can fish anywhere with these rigs. Say fishing, you can fish if you wanted to go and fish at the 180, the deep bits, the 200 meter holes and that. You can go fishing in them spots with these rigs and you won't catch the big fish like the basking sharks and all that scare you from fishing in them places. You can catch the smaller fish. I mean, obviously you can catch big saithe and you can catch big haddock and you can catch big thorny rays, but it's nothing that your gear won't be able to handle that you've got at the minute. So anyway, that's that. So I hope I've made it a bit clear enough for you to understand how these rigs work. What I'm going to show you now is fishing from the shore, where you don't have to go out on a boat.